Hello, everyone. I am Tanya Cunningham with Tanya Holmes Group, and welcome again to my Realtor Hat series. Today, we're going to be having a very interesting conversation, and this one is for you ladies. So please stop what you're doing and take a good listen because this is so important. We're going to be speaking with Dr. Joselyn Rodriguez, who is a pelvic floor physical therapist. And what is a pelvic floor physical therapist? It's not something people are talking about, and it is so important because if you have stuff going on with your body and you're not sure what it is, or you think that you just have to accept it because of your age, well, stop and think again. Let's talk to Dr. Joselyn so she can let you know that you matter and that there are things that you can do to make your life so much better. Sit back and let's see what Dr. Joselyn has to say. Hi, Dr. Joselyn.
Hi, great to be here.
Great to have you here. I am looking forward to this conversation because I think it's one most aren't having. And women out there in the world need to know that they're being contributed to and that they matter, and how their life goes is important for them to have a really great quality of life. So this might not be the typical conversation, but this is one that I think is necessary. So I would love for you to explain to everyone what you do as a pelvic floor therapist.
Great. My name is Dr. Joselyn Rodriguez. I'm a pelvic floor physical therapist. And so the pelvic floor is a group of muscles that help maintain continence, for example, avoiding leakage of urine. It also participates in sexual intercourse. It helps us and activates while you're breathing, and it provides stability to our movement throughout the day. And so what a pelvic floor physical therapist does is that we help you improve any symptoms you're having in that region. For example, like the leaking, pelvic pain, pain with intercourse. It could be low back pain. That's actually pelvic floor symptoms, or it could be hip pain.
All right. So that is quite a lot that you can help women with. And I know that you have even said to me that there's a large percentage of women out there who have something going on, especially if they've had a child before. So can you go into that a little bit so we can understand and hear
Sure.
more?
Absolutely. During pregnancy, that's 10 months of your body shifting and changing to accommodate this growing, beautiful child. And that alone provides, difficulties and changes to your body in general. But there are changes that happen to the pelvic floor. Sometimes the pelvic floor can become overactive um, while you're pregnant. And then after delivering or a C-section, then you also have those complications of having lengthened the pelvic floor muscles. Sometimes you'll have the incontinence, or you'll have a tear of the perineum, the space in the groin where the child has exited through the vagina. And then you can, it'll cause leakage or pain with intercourse. It could cause pain with prolonged sitting. And, as a physical therapist, because the pelvic floor is muscles, we can help with that. Because the C-section scar area is soft tissue, we help with that.
Wow. Well, the reason why I'm glad that you're saying all of this and expressing it and sharing it is because I had one child. I have a daughter. So I can't imagine what it's like for people who have two children, three children, four, what it must be like, because my body, for after having the 9 months of pregnancy, it took me probably a year or so to recover, really feel like myself. So I can only imagine what it's like for people who have children, like one right after the other, or just have, a few children. And what I'm getting from what you're saying is that maybe people aren't talking about this, because I never hear anybody speaking about what you do until I met you.
Right. It's definitely something that's not spoken about enough. I think now it's starting to pick up speed. And you're right. The research shows that, women, postpartum women, it can take them anywhere from 12 to 18 months to feel like they're back to where they were before. And that's absolutely normal. But if what you said, where you then have one child after the other, things can kind of like snowball. And, you go to see a physician or you speak to your girlfriends and they're like, oh, that's normal, or that's expected. And just because that's affected doesn't mean you have to live with it without addressing it, without at least attempting to address it, right? We know that, there's a baby that you held onto and you grew. Your body had to accommodate for that. But there are things we can do to mitigate some of the symptoms that can occur later on down the road, or to address the symptoms after you've had the baby. And these are symptoms, again, the majority of women will have.
Well, I appreciate you for sharing this, because I think that the I I know a lot of women. I meet up my clients, my friends, it's just so many people. And what I've noticed across the board is that a lot of people feel that they don't matter in terms of having a great quality of life, especially once they have children. They seem to, focus on the child and not realize that their quality of life is important, not only for them, but so that that child can see a happy mom, and for those who aren't mothers, for their loved ones to see a happy wife, a happy friend, a happy daughter. All of those things are really important. So this, to me, is a very, very important conversation. And I know that you speak with people who have gone through trauma as well. It's not we're not just talking about moms who have had babies or so on, but there's a lot of trauma too that people have gone through. So just briefly tell me how you help others there too as well, please.
Gotcha. So when there's a trauma involved, and for some people, birth is trauma filled as well. But for when there's other forms of trauma to the area, an injury, unfortunately, some kind of domestic issue or an assault, that can manifest itself as pain in the area, trouble with, defecation, things like that. And an important component of what we would do there, we would treat similar ways, but you would have to involve some kind of a mental health specialist, because if that part has never been addressed, the success is going to be limited with only pelvic floor physical therapy. In regards to the mental aspect for, women, postpartum women who are having difficulties, getting back to the gym, leaking with jumping, a jumping rope, leaking with, sneezing, coughing. Like, those are things that can decrease confidence, and that will show as you interact with your family. Painful intercourse will show as you interact with your partner, and that can affect your mental health as well.
Well, thank you for having this conversation with me. I know that this is an important interview because I doubt that a lot of people are talking about this, and it's so important. So thank you, Dr. Joselyn. Can you tell us what's the best way for someone to reach you?
Definitely reach out to me on Instagram at the Pelvic Trainer. You can send me a message and we can discuss whether or not you're an appropriate candidate for this type of treatment.
And if somebody isn't doing a lot of social media, is there a phone number or a website or an email address?
Yes, my number to reach me is 786-361-4654.
Perfect. Dr. Joselyn, it's been a great pleasure. Thank you for talking about something that a lot of people aren't talking about, but need to be talking about and need to be getting help with. And I know that you can help a lot of women with this situation. And I'm glad that we had this conversation. Thanks so much.
So much, but it's been a pleasure to get, what this is out there so that people can just be more knowledgeable and be able to identify when they need to seek treatment.
And I feel really a lot of pleasure in the fact that I had an opportunity to bring this to everyone so that they can have that, because what a great gift that will be to know that someone else is helped because of this conversation.
Absolutely.
Take care. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Wow, what an incredible conversation. Dr. Joselyn is someone that you really need to be speaking with if you are having issues, or please share this with your friends, because they may not be talking about it, but they may need her help. Dr. Joselyn on Instagram is the Pelvic Trainer, or she can be reached at 786-361-4654. Spread the word, let people know that they matter and they can be helped. And also, remember, if you were buying or selling a home or had a friend or family member who was, tell them to call Tanya, because we wear the hat to bring you the facts.